Pride can be both glaringly obvious and deceptively sneaky. How can we expose this easily camouflaged predator? Listen as Pastor Bartlett explains.
In Mark 7:6-9, we read the following. He answered and said unto them, Well hath Esaias prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, This people honoureth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition. Persons who simply honor God with their lips and whose worship consists of the observance of the commandments and traditions of men have no understanding of authentic worship. Although they may experience a sense of God's presence as they go through the rituals of worship, their revelation of Him will be very superficial. This is because their self-life has not yet been crushed, and therefore Jesus Christ does not occupy the throne of their hearts. Worship for these persons is more about their own gratification rather than the glory of God. Pride is still the dominant motivating factor in their lives. Many believers never develop an intimate relationship with the Lord and never truly worship Him on a consistent basis because they have never genuinely humbled themselves before Him. Their pride keeps Him at a distance from them. The scary thing, however, is that they may think that they are close to God. Pride, perhaps more than any other sin, has the inherent ability to deceive a person's heart, thus blinding them to their true spiritual condition. As Obadiah 3 says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? The very elements at work in the life of the proud person that drive him or her away from the Lord at the same time leads them to believe that they are close to God. What a tragic deception. In his book, At the Altar of Sexual Idolatry, Steve Gallagher writes the following. People are prone to overlook their deeply embedded sin because it has an extremely deceptive nature. There exists an interesting correlation between a person's involvement with sin and his or her awareness of it. The more a person becomes involved in sin, the less he or she sees it. Sin is a hideous disease that destroys a person's ability to comprehend its existence. it could be compared to a computer virus that has the ability to hide its presence from the user while it systematically destroys the hard drive. Typically, those who are the most entangled in sin are the very ones who cannot see its presence at work inside them. Sin has the ability to mask itself so well that it can actually make the person who deals with it the least think he is the most spiritual. The psalmist exposed this person's true heart when he said, "There is no fear of God before his eyes, for in his own eyes he flatters himself too much to detect or hate his sin." Psalm 36, 1 to 2. On the other hand, the more a person overcomes sin in his or her life and draws closer to God, the more glaringly his or her nature of sin stands out. God dwells in unapproachable light, according to 1 Timothy 6:16, and so consequently every remnant of selfishness, pride, and sin is going to be exposed to the sincere seeker. The intense, brilliant light of God exposes what is in a person's heart. Those who want to draw near to Him rejoice because of this. Persons who desire for God to deal radically with their sins love the light and embrace it, even though it means their true selves will be unmasked. In John 3:18 to 21, Jesus said, "He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God." In Psalm 139, 23 to 24, David cried out, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." The Message translates these verses as follows: "Investigate my life, O God. Find out everything about me. Cross-examine and test me. Get a clear picture of what I'm about. See for yourself whether I've done anything wrong. Then guide me on the road to eternal life." This is the prayer of a sincere soul. An hypocrite can never sincerely pray this prayer. The proud individual who does not desire change remains blissfully ignorant about his or her true spiritual state. he or she flatters themselves like the self-righteous, self-deceived Pharisee in the parable recorded in Luke 18:9-14. These persons believe and pray the best about themselves. Due to their tremendous self-love, they see themselves always in the most favorable light.
Many Jamaicans dislike going to the doctor because they fear having to confront a diagnosis of illness. Just as illness cannot be treated or cured unless it is detected, so it is with sin. Do you find that you cannot perceive your own sin? Or do you have a great difficulty acknowledging or confessing sin? Until next time, think on these things.